Okay, I want to say hi to everybody. This is Boone Cat Nation coming at you. Most of you know me by Rob or Boone Cat Nation with the little cartoons, but we're trying out something new today. I hope you like it. And if you don't like it, well, you can email me. Just be nice, because I'm going to be nice. I'm just an old redneck, and Redneck Live is where you can find me on the internet. Just give me a shout when you want to listen to me. I'm going to be putting this one on, and there'll be an address for you to go over to my podcast website. But anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about these Democrats and these Republicans. You know, I used to be right down the middle, independent. I used to vote for a few from either side, depending on what they believed in and what they told me. But I'm sorry, I guess I lean more to the right now, as you can tell by my Facebook page, just because the left left me. When I say they left me, I mean they left me. The ones that are more moderate left, I can handle them. Good people. Sometimes they say things that really make good sense. But doggone these far leftists. They're driving me nuts, and this old redneck just going to give you some common sense about it. You know, the Democrats has got the swamp rats, and then they got the media that spreads false allegations, and they do smear tactics, and most of the time Republicans back off. But what do you think about that Supreme Court? Wasn't no backing off there, and they didn't know what to do when we didn't back off. But we have to keep on going. You can't sit back and just let it ride. You've got to vote. I mean, you got to vote. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. Vote. We're going to plow right through them, I hope. Now, I agree with the Democrats on some things like Social Security not being an entitlement, because it's kind of like a bank account. You know, if you put money in the bank and someone goes in there and takes it out of the bank, you can bring charges against them. But with the government, they seem to think that's okay, and they call it an entitlement. I've never had to pay for an entitlement because I was entitled to it without doing anything. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong. If you need it, you should have it. But to punish the ones that are working every day, we work. I see all these people out, all the rumors about getting paid to protest and everything. And I wonder where the Republicans are, but I kind of know where they're at. Be honest with you, Republicans are working. That's why they're not out there in groves facing off with the Democrats. And you got to disregard this news media. I mean, come on. Look, Democrats, most of you in the middle know what I'm about to say. And that's why a lot of them are walking away. The thing done with Kavanaugh, if he's guilty, he should be punished. I agree 100%. But come on, let's look at the facts. Don't know who, what, where, when, or how. And she gave witnesses, and every one of her, now I repeat, her witnesses said, don't know what she's talking about. A couple of them have come forth and said they were even pressured to try to change their stories. Now, this man, like they say, has been on the circuit for years. Very highly, highly respected. And they just wanted to tear him down to get what they want. And usually it works. Used to, they would push and push. And they would use activists and get in your face kind of politics, which is getting worse now, by the way. It's getting kind of dangerous out there, I think. But the Republicans always had a history, and it is their history of backing down. And when I say they're backing down, I mean they're backing down to everything, from Obamacare right on down to spending. We got to get rid of the old guard, whether it's the far left extreme Democrats or the far right extremists. We got to get rid of the swamp on both sides, not just one. I'm not saying it's one. I'm saying both sides. And come on. You may hate Trump. I don't like Trump. I've never liked the thing I think he's an arrogant piece of work. But I will tell you this. Of all the things I'm looking at and all the real numbers that are coming out, He has done wonders for us, and you know he has. I mean, if you look in the mirror tonight, think about the lowest unemployment in history, jobs coming back, all nuclear war stuff. Now they're even North Korea's back to the tables again, working on getting denuclearization of the peninsula over there, and then you turn around and all this NAFTA deal. Oh, Lord, we lost NAFTA. It's going to destroy us. It's going to destroy the farmer. No, it didn't. They came to the table. We knew they would. He knew they would. I didn't know if they would, but he knew they would. So you got to take that into consideration when you want to hate them. You know, you may not like him, but doggone, he's done a lot in just a little time. And, you know, the middle-of-the-road Democrats are pretty good people. I can kind of go with them. I just can't handle that far left. And now all this stuff is coming out with the FBI and the DOJ and the uranium too. You do know Hillary got funneled $140 million into an account. It was funneled through an account in her charity to her after that. And a few others got rich off of it. And you don't have to take my word for it. Putin said it in the news conference when he was there with Trump, and they had their news conference. He asked the people, what about it? Nobody wants to say nothing. And come on, Feinstein, you really think that you can hold that letter for all that time, knowing it was there, never bringing it up or anything until you knew you was going to lose the vote, and right before the vote, you pull it out? Then we find out that it's all connected. You hired and paid the retainer for the attorneys. You turned around and paid for a lie detector test that consists of 2 questions. Neither one of them was about Kavanaugh. Also, she committed perjury when she testified. She testified, and I think everybody, remember, if you watched it, you'll know I'm telling the truth. Testified she's scared of flying. The whole reason she was scared of flying is she didn't want to be there on that Monday. She wanted to wait till Friday, so it was too late for Kavanaugh, if he was voted in, to be on the panel for the sessions that are going on right now at the Supreme Court. And it worked. They won that battle. But they didn't win the war. But think about it. No witnesses on her side. And her best friend, now I'm saying her best friend says I don't know her. Oh, golly, or don't know Kavanaugh, excuse me there. Got that a little wrong. I get kind of choked up over this. Says she's never met Kavanaugh. But she was supposed to be in there when all this happened. Doggone it, I'm stupid, but I ain't dumb. I was born at night, but not last night, I'd like to say. But I'll tell you what. Then she turned around and said she never gave anybody advice on a lie detector test or how to take one or anything. Then we find out she did just that. She even wrote a paper on it. So that's perjury there. Her boyfriend said she had never said a word to him about it, and they used to fly around to the islands and get on what they call a puddle jumper. A puddle jumper is a little bitty plane that just goes from island to island. And she never had a bit of problem. Oh, and the 2 doors in the front of her house, because she said she was scared of being closed in. Well, the building permits, and you can look them up yourself, they're public record, said that she was wanting it done because they had some Google interns that were staying with them. And she didn't want them coming into her house to get to the room they were staying in, so they built another front door with a partition wall so they could go to the other rooms without entering their home. But either way, people, you know, I've listened to Democrats. Some of them have some real good arguments, but the sad part is they get swept under the rug by the likes of Cory Booker and Maxine Waters and get lost. Just gone. And if they would lower some of that rhetoric it wouldn't be such a bad deal. I'm sure it would be a bipartisan Senate, legislature. But they're going to make sure it don't. Feinstein's scared of losing her power. Cory Booker wants to run for president. Maxine Waters just wants to be noticed. And look at their states. That's all I want to say is look at their states. The people suffering. All because they want to make a point. And Democrats, I'm going to tell you, dressing up with pink hats and vagina suits and walking down the street, Let that sink in a minute. Is that really getting your point across, or is that just real extreme? And then some of you coming out on that side saying that we shouldn't call our children babies or he's or she's. We should call them babies till they're 4 and let them make up their mind. But there's 2 studies out right now that shows you do that and you're going to wish you hadn't. I'm not even going to get into that. That's something for another show. But I called my daughter, not a baby. And I'm sorry, at 4 years old, all they know is they want to play. They don't care if it's with dolls or with cars or with mud pies. They just want to play. But you see what I mean, people? It's getting so far. The left is getting so extreme. I mean, so extreme to hold on to try to keep or try to get new voters that are way over there. And then they condone Antifa, MS-13. Whether I'm left or right, I'm not condoning either one. Antifa wants civil war. MS-13 wants to rule the world. Where do you win? I'm going to tell you, it's getting worse out there, people, whether you're Democrat or Republican. It comes time when you have to tell the real crazies on your side, Republican and Democrat. It comes a time when you have to tell them enough. Quit acting like spoiled brats and start acting like our designated representatives. I'm saying both sides. You can get mad at me if you want to. Now, no woman should ever be touched by a man, should never be abused by a man, should never be hit by a man, should never be mistreated by a man. And just remember, every woman is somebody's mother. Treat them with respect. But at the same time, yes, some women lie to achieve their goal. There's one, if you look at Facebook very much, you had to have seen this story. The woman's going to prison. She took a man's football livelihood away by claiming that he raped her. He got sentenced to 15 years. After 5 years of turning him loose because she finally couldn't take it anymore and told the truth. But now his pro football days are gone. His world is gone. And no matter what he does, he'll have that stigma. We got to get back to the basics, people. We got to start trusting each other and start working with each other. We're going to have differences. But that's why they made it the way they made our government. The forefathers knew what they're doing. And I'm sorry, if you don't believe in the Constitution, sure, it's got a couple of things you'd like to change. Do away with the guns, and then when we're attacked, what do we do? I'm not saying attacked by the left. I'm saying attacked by anybody. And I'm not prejudiced. I've got friends that are from India, Hebrew. I've got Mexican friends. I got a son-in-law that's Mexican. But he did it the right way, and I respect him very much. He's a very hard worker. I've got a couple of Muslims. I'm not going to mention who they are or anything because they would get stoned to death if I was to mention who they are after I say that they don't want nothing to do with the Quran. But I also ran into some that laugh and say free money. They get over $3,000 a month. Think about it, over $3,000 a month.